Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Level Up Lando, aka All About Aspen. Level Up Lando is the show that takes you inside the struggles, the trials, the tribulations, and the occasional successes. That is the everyday challenge of my life as I pursue my never ending effort of trying to level up. I am your host, LANDONLIKEAPLANE, and I'm coming to you from Truscott Studios, also known as my bedroom, right here in lovely Aspen, Colorado. Today is Wednesday, July 30th at 12:21 p.m., a day before my 43rd birthday. Happy early birthday to me. Turning 43 and not sure how I feel about that. Definitely feeling good physically. Just got back from a 2.5 mile run and haven't really been drinking too much lately. So I'm feeling pretty fit. I'm feeling pretty in shape for becoming 43. However, I also am a little disappointed with where I'm at in my life circumstances. I thought I would be further along by the age of 43 than I am. Oh, what just happened there? Man. See if we can't get this to work right. Come on now. Okay. So, like I was saying, not as far along in life as I had hoped to be as I'm turning 43. However, patience is a virtue. And it's not like I'm not working towards getting to where I want to go. I am. I expected to be there by now. It's been over 10 years that I've been working to try to make this new dream of becoming a professional speaker, becoming a professional writer, becoming a professional videographer a reality. And while it is my reality, I am a professional speaker, I am a professional writer, and I'm a professional videographer. However, not making very much money doing it. So, trying to change that, trying to figure out how to generate more income than I need, which isn't very much, if I'm being totally honest. The real truth of the matter is that I've got $50 to my name. So I am down to fumes yet again, can barely afford food. Thank God I have paid my rent for August. That's part of the reason I don't have any money, is I paid my rent for July and August at the end of June. And now I was hoping for July to be a little bit more productive of a month than it has been, but it hasn't been as productive as I would care for it to be. Although the last 10 days have been pretty productive, so I'll get into that in just a minute. But just trying to catch you up from where we left off last time, which was July 18th, my sister Madison's birthday. Happy belated birthday to my little sister Madison, who I believe turned 39. And yeah, my birthday is tomorrow, 43, July 31st. I'll be 43. Which, again, as I was saying before, all things considered, I do feel pretty good, especially, and I don't really like to do this, but especially when I compare myself to my friends, which is not something I really like to do. I think that, comparison is the thief of joy. And at the end of the day, everybody's living their own lives individually, everybody has their own journey. And therefore, to compare mine to theirs is comparing apples to oranges, and it doesn't really make much sense to do so. However, physically, my friends all look 43. They are all either balding or fat or gray haired. And I'm not saying that their lives aren't more stressful. I'm not saying they don't have children and mortgages and careers that have, manifested gray hair and dad bods. But I don't have children, and I don't really have, a job that is stressing me out that makes my hair turn gray. So from that point of view, feeling pretty good, feeling pretty fit, feeling pretty young, both physically and maybe a little bit mentally. So yeah, for turning 43, I do feel pretty good about that. However, my bank account is suffering. It is the reflection of the carefree lifestyle that I have. And I need to do something about it. I need to find a way to get another client, to generate some more money, to continue to make this business grow and go. And that is in the works. I'm doing what I need to be doing to make that happen, but it hasn't happened quite yet. So let's try to back up a little bit and we will catch you up from the last time that we sat down. I've had two more articles come out in the newspaper, and the most recent one was about a shrine in the woods that I found called the Phone of the Wind. And I actually ended up talking with my dead Uncle Kenny through the Phone of the Wind, who told me to tell my dad that he can move on from thinking about my uncle, his brother, um, as obsessively as he was. So I called my dad and told him that, and it moved my dad. My dad's a spiritual man, and so he was actually able to let go as a result of my uncle talking to me through this magical phone. And my dad decided to create a phone of the wind, and he did, and then he donated it to his church in Scottsdale. So now Scottsdale, Arizona has the first phone of the wind in the state of Arizona. And that essentially was what my article was about. And I've got a lot of really great feedback from it. I've got people writing to me telling me that they like my writing. I've got people telling me that they want to know where the phone is so that they can use it because they've lost loved ones and they want to try to move on and get some closure. I've got people telling me that they created shrines for their loved ones themselves. I had the creator of the actual phone. This is a cool story. So somebody saw my article and sent it to the guy who made the phone that I found here in Aspen. And he wrote me an email and said, "Hey, I saw your article. I loved it. And I'm the guy that made that thing." He also happens to be a drone pilot. And he is going to be coming out to the Aspen area at the end of August to do some sort of art exhibit. And he wondered if I wanted to put my drone in the air to help capture it. So um, I got a little bit of lead generation coming through the newspaper, which is pretty cool and pretty exciting. That's my alarm to do 10 push ups. I've been doing as close to 100 push ups a day as I can be, which is part of the reason that I feel so fit. Man, what a life hack 100 push ups is. My chest has definitely started to develop, and I feel stronger and fitter. I can't do 100 push ups in a row, so I just do 10 every hour, starting from 12:28 to 9:28. So when I get done doing this, I'll crank out a quick 10, and then it'll be close to 1:28 where I'll have to do another 10. So doing 100 push ups a day and, running 2 miles a day. My friend gave me a pass to go hit golf balls over at the golf course. So on occasion, I'm also whacking a bucket of balls a day. So whacking balls, baby, and getting a little bit better. I met a guy the other day while I was hitting golf balls who's from New York. His name's Harris, and we went down to the Carbondale Mountain Fair together. So I went to go check out the Carbondale Mountain Fair, which is this huge fair that happens in Carbondale. And I've never really done it. I've done it once before, and I remember getting pretty wasted and falling asleep and catching a bus home and not really participating in the fair too much. And so it was cool this year to go down there and get to participate in the fair. And there was women's wood chopping contest and a whole bunch of wares and art for sale. I got myself a banh mi sandwich, which was a really great, delicious banh mi sandwich. I think they're called the Chef's Cart is the name of that restaurant slash food truck. If anybody's looking for a good banh mi, I think they're down in Carbondale. I was told that the guy who manages New York Pizza down in Carbondale also makes those banh mi sandwiches. So if you're in Carbondale looking for banh mi, go check it out. It was really good. I highly recommend it. It was definitely worth the money. Um, so that's kind of what happened last weekend. Today is Wednesday. So yeah, last Saturday we cruised down there and it was great. I really enjoyed getting to go to the fair and see what all the hoopla was about. I had a really good time. And it was cool meeting that guy. And the reason that I met him is because I was driving balls with bare feet. And he's like, "Do they let you play barefoot?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's my fault if I step on a tee, like a broken tee, and impale my foot. But I try not to do that. Although I have done it. I've definitely stepped on stuff playing barefoot." So, and he just thought that was funny. And well, that's how we ended up meeting and kind of connecting. And he's a music teacher in New York at New York Public Schools. So anybody who's teaching music, I tend to be a fan of. Let's see, what else? What else? Yeah, so I've written that article. I've gotten some good feedback from it. I've also like cold called and messaged several other companies who have expressed some sort of an interest in having me, do some sort of marketing for them. I reached out to the Aspen Dirt Bike School, and they might be interested in having me write an article on them. And they also have a drone pilot who's doing their marketing. When I saw their ad on Instagram, there was a really good drone piloting in the ad. They were following a dirt biker around, and it was good. So I wrote them, and hopefully I'll get to meet their drone guy and maybe do some networking. But the truth of the matter is, I am down to the last of my little bit of money that I have. I got a $300 check coming from the newspaper at some point. They supposedly put an invoice in for me a week ago. So hopefully tomorrow or Friday at the latest, I get this $300 to hit my account because I need it. I got 50 bucks. So it's hard. It's hard and it's stressful and it creates doubt, which is, I think, the worst part. I don't mind the hard and I don't mind the stressful. The part that I do mind is doubt and wondering if I am going to be able to continue working for myself or if I need to start applying for a job and potentially go work for somebody else because I need money. I need to be able to pay my rent. I've got my parents' 50th wedding anniversary coming up in Las Vegas in September, and my 25th high school reunion is the following week. And if I had $50,000 in my bank account, I would do it. I would go to both. Considering I only got 50 and not 50,000, I'm concerned about just being able to make my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. So luckily, I've already bought my plane ticket for that. Thank God. But I still need money for the hotel room. I still need money for, food and entertainment when I'm out there. And so I'm really hoping that I can put something together here. Yesterday, I went around and I took photos of all of the for sale signs that I could find with the realtors' signs in front of them. And I did a little drone footage of some of these houses with the idea being that I'm going to go ahead and put together a little like bait video, a little sample video for some of these realtors to see so that they can decide if maybe some aerial videography would help them sell their house. So that's what I'm hoping, and I'm hoping that I can negotiate some pretty good price points on that. I'm hoping for like $2,000 minimum, and ideally $3,000 to $5,000 depending on what they're looking for. So that's all coming up. That's got to happen in the next month for sure, but ideally the next couple of days so that I can get to work, get the film in the can, and then get to editing. Speaking of editing, at the end of the month, I got to shoot a wedding, and I fucked up pretty bad. And I deleted a bunch of the master files for one of the cameras that I was using, which was the 360-degree camera, which does really cool things in editing as far as being able to see everywhere all at the same time. And that derailed me. That definitely derailed me. I came back, I think, like July 11th or so, and tried to edit that, and then when I deleted it, it kind of took me off course for a week. I made some really bad decisions. I spent some of the very little money that I had, on drugs and alcohol, and basically just ran from my problems instead of facing them for about a week. And so it wasn't until around the 18th, the last time I sat down, that I actually started getting back to work, started getting back to the grind. And now it's been about 10 days, and it's amazing how much you can accomplish in 10 days when you're really dedicated and you're actually working to make shit happen. So it's been a productive 10 days. I'm feeling pretty good. I haven't really had a drink of alcohol. I had a couple of beers at the fair. But other than that, it's been, 2+ weeks since I've had a drink. And so feeling pretty healthy. And I'm glad that I'm not wasting money on alcohol. So that's kind of happening. I think that part of the reason that I put myself in this position of being as broke as I am is that it forces me to be sober. It forces me to not smoke weed. It forces me to not drink alcohol because I can't afford afford it. I just physically, I just frankly can't afford it. So, um, that's the positive silver lining that I'm putting on to why am I in this situation? Why am I in a position where I can't afford anything? And the answer that I'm just making up because it's a positive one is this is how you get sober. This is how you become productive. This is how you take care of business. And this is honestly how you make magic happen is when your back is to the wall and you're forced to sink or swim, and when I'm in those sorts of scenarios where it's really do or die and I have to make a miracle happen, I'm pretty good at making a miracle happen. So I'm in that situation yet again. And if you follow the show, you know that this is not an uncommon occurrence for me, despite having some success, despite having some, you know, forward progress. I still find myself in a scenario where I'm struggling for money. But other than that, if I had $50,000 in my bank account, I would be on top of the world. Outside of the financial part of my life is a miracle. My life is a gift. My life is a dream come true. I live in Aspen, Colorado. I just got back from a 2.5 mile run along a trail where I saw a deer, and it's a beautiful sunny day. Summertime. We're kind of coming through the peak of summer, starting to cool off just a tiny little bit. It says it's 91 degrees out there. Oh my God, I can't believe that. No, 81. 81. Okay, that's better. 81 degrees. So nice and cool. I've got good friends, good social life. I'm writing for the paper. I'm being of contribution. I'm making an impact. I'm making a difference. So, in all the other ways of my life, I really do feel like I am the richest man in Aspen. And other than the financial point of view, other than from the financial position, I'm doing great. I'm feeling healthy. Like I said, my chest is starting to develop from doing 100 push-ups a day, which it's weird. It's weird to watch your body sort of become stronger and fitter, and to see the physical results of doing 100 push-ups a day. I haven't been doing them for that long, so it's probably been like maybe I started in like late May, I think, and did it for, or no, I started in late April, and I did it for a solid month, and then my buddy came to stay with me, and I kind of stopped doing it, and then it was about a month off until about like the middle of June, and now I've been doing it again for like 2 weeks maybe. So I'd say like 6 weeks all up, around 40 days ish. That I've been doing 100 push-ups a day. 40 days, let's just say, out of like 70. So that's not that long, and then to actually see some result is it's inspiring. It's motivating. It makes me want to keep going. So yeah, that's what's going on. So now let's jump over to this little yellow book of accountability and see what we got going on. Now this book is almost filled up, so we have the new and improved green book of accountability. Don't really like this book quite as much. This one's leather on the cover. So I'd love to get one of these with my logo on it. That would be really cool. So let's just see here. 731. 730, excuse me. Day before I turned 43. So let's see. Going all the way back to 7:15, I had to cancel Canva, which I did. BWA, get 2 clients editing, construction or real estate, 5K. Talk to a realtor or construction, or talk to 5 different realtors or construction companies. Edit my highlight reel. And then I got to edit the motorcycle stuff. I did that. Edit the wedding stuff. I did that. I got to do Steely Dead stuff. Editing software, AI. I got to figure that out. Profit and loss and budget. I kind of have done that. We'll circle those. Talk to 5 realtors or construction people. I went and got that information yesterday. I'll talk to them today, or try to. Renew my FAA license. Bills, internet. I paid that today. Electricity and insurance are coming. Calendar, countdown. Okay. So we're going to go edit. I gotta do Steely Dad and the family video. And I gotta finish the wedding video. I did the motorcycle one. I need to send video to one of my clients with the spin cycle gym. And then I need to finish my profit and loss statement and a budget, which I've got those numbers. I just got to kind of like dial it in. I've got to I got to renew my drone pilot license. Renew that. I've got bills, which is electricity and insurance. Let's see, and I need a countdown calendar. Maybe a whiteboard. Let's see, what else do I gotta do here? 2 new clients. I need 5 realtors or construction contractors. What else? I got to get all my invoices together. Redo my cold call DM questions to make them 2 questions. Let's see what else. Let's go back a little further. All right. I had a meeting this morning with my mentor. Oh, I gotta finish. Gotta finish a video for a friend who already paid me. All right, dude, this is pretty good. I'm actually liking what I'm seeing here. I paid for my business license, Google Workspace, and I sorted all my memory on my hard drive yesterday. Okay. So I'm feeling pretty good. That's a decent little list there. So we've got to do some editing. I got to send some video. I got to create my profit and loss and budget. Got to renew my FAA license. Got to pay some bills. Got to get a countdown calendar. 2 new clients, and I got to redo how I'm cold calling people. So not too long of a list, and feeling pretty confident that I get most of that done. And so with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the old Daily Stoic. This is 366 Meditations on Wisdom, Perseverance, and the Art of Living by Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman. Thanks, guys, for creating this. I really appreciate it. It helps me to reframe my day. And I'm hoping that it helps the people who are listening and the people that I read this to. So here we go. July 30th. Now, quickly, I'll let you into my head. Feeling pretty good, actually. I've been pretty productive these last couple of days. Really doing a good job. You know, both staying sober, but then also taking care of business in that sober state, which a lot of my drug use and alcohol use comes from boredom. So instead of being bored, I am accomplishing and taking action and getting shit done. And I got to say, it feels good to both be sober, but then to also be using that time to be producing and taking action. I am a little stressed out that I don't have enough money, but that's not abnormal for me, and I'm used to it. So, to a certain extent, I also, while I am concerned and while I do recognize it's got to be addressed, I need to find some sort of a solution to this problem. My real truth is that I trust. I'm trusting the universe. I'm trusting my future. I'm trusting myself that I am doing the work that I need to do to pull a rabbit out of a hat here and make, two to five to $10,000 in the next 30 days. So we'll see how any of that goes. But between now and then, there's a little bit of anxiety, there's a little bit of doubt and concern and worry. Um, and when I experience that and when I am concerned for myself, I just release it. I release it to the universe, knowing and trusting that everything is unfolding perfectly, that I'm right where I'm supposed to be. The universe is conspiring in my favor, and that I can trust that the journey is unfolding perfectly. So hopefully I can embrace that and harness some money, create and manifest some money into my life. That would be great. So here we go. A little bit of concern, a little bit of doubt, a little bit of worry, but mostly pride and action is what's going on. So this is July 30th, Stoic Joy. Trust me, real joy is a serious thing. Do you think someone can, in the charming expression, blithely dismiss death with an easy disposition? Or swing open the door to poverty, keep pleasures in check, or mediate on the endurance of, or meditate, no, mediate, no, meditate, or meditate on the endurance of suffering? The one who is comfortable with turning these thoughts over is truly full of joy, but hardly cheerful. It's exactly such a joy that I would wish for you to possess, for it will never run dry once you've laid claim to its source. Seneca, Moral Letters 23.4. This is in line with what I was just talking about. We throw around the word joy casually. I'm overjoyed at the news. She's a joy to be around. It's a joyous occasion. But none of those examples really touches on true joy. They are closer to cheer than anything else. Cheerfulness is surface level. Joy, to Seneca, is a deep state of being. It is what we feel inside us and has little to do with smiles or laughing. So when people say that Stoics are dour or depressive, they're really missing the point. Who cares if someone is bubbly when times are good? What kind of accomplishment is that? But can you be fully content with your life? Can you bravely face what life has in store from one day to the next? Can you bounce back from every kind of adversity without losing a step? Can you be a source of strength and inspiration to others around you? That's stoic joy. The joy that comes from purpose, excellence, and duty. It's a serious thing, far more serious than a smile or a chipper voice. And that kind of hits it on the head. That's exactly what I'm feeling. The reason that I feel like the richest man in Aspen, even though I have the adversity of having no money in my bank account, is because I am joyful. I am the stoic joyful. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful for the miracle of every single breath that I get. I'm grateful. I'm humble, and I'm proud. I'm proud to live my life, and I'm proud of the opportunity that I have to try to be better than I was yesterday. And some days I am better than I was yesterday, and other days I'm not. But every day I am grateful. Every day I am joyful. Every day I am filled with the gratitude that is the blessing of my life. I love to live. I love to be alive. I love to wake up every day and make an effort and an attempt to build the future that I'm trying to make my everyday life. And that's exciting to me. That's fun for me. It's a challenge and it feels good and it's hard, but I enjoy embracing that. I enjoy embracing that adversity, and mostly I enjoy learning about myself, learning where I'm weak, learning where I can improve, learning where I need to build my character. And that's essentially what that was saying about the Stoic kind of joy, is that it's rooted deep in you. There's a joy for even all the hard, terrible things that happen in life. Those things don't create a feeling of malcontent, they create a feeling of joy for me. And sometimes, admittedly, the adversity throws me off track. Sometimes I'm not able to just bounce right back. Sometimes, like when I deleted all that footage, I get thrown off and I make self sabotaging, backwards decisions that don't propel me forward, but instead hamstring me and undermine me and push me backward, essentially. But I try not to stay there too long, although sometimes it does take me a week to get beyond it. Sometimes I just can't stop beating myself up and I can't stop. Um, what's the word? I can't stop, like, pining over the mistake that I made. And sometimes the mistakes are pretty bad. But always, in enough time, I eventually get back to forgiving myself, trying to fix the situation to the best that I can, and whatever I'm unable to fix, allowing for it to be and moving on. With this footage, I tried really hard to recover it. I paid for this recovery software. I was able to recover a bunch of it, and then it wouldn't play because the files were corrupted. So at the end of the day, I I just had to kind of cut bait and move on. Which, if anybody fishes out there, sometimes you get your line snagged on a rock, sometimes you get your line tangled and tied up, and you can spend, all day trying to free your line and then untangling the knot that's in it. Or you can cut the line, lose the lure, lose the bait, lose the line, and move on. You have to retire a new lure to it. You have to spend the money on a new lure and, take the loss on the old one. But sometimes it's faster to do that, to just cut your line and retie a new lure, than it is to spend all day trying to free that line, ultimately to free it and then to have to untangle the knot in it. And you don't get to fish. You're standing there on the side of the bank fixing your rod the whole day, when it would be much faster if you just cut it, took the loss, accepted the loss, fixed it, got a new lure on there so that you could start casting again and ideally catching fish. So that's what I ultimately had to do with this video snafu, where I just reached a point where I was like, listen, I've spent enough time trying to fix this problem and I can't fix it. So rather than fix it, I'm going to accept the loss, I'm going to accept the mistake, and we're going to move on. And I did. I found some more footage. I found some footage that I had on my phone, and I stitched together a pretty darn good video for my client, who really wasn't. They're not expecting the video. I'm just doing that because I fucked up, and this is part of me making up for the mistake and gifting them a free edited video with all this other footage that I've got, which I'm just so proud of myself for having multiple cameras running and taking multiple videos from different angles that allowed me to then sort of salvage this pretty bad mistake that I made. So that's where it's at. I'm continuing to move forward. I'm continuing to try to delay my gratification so that I can bring the future into the present and have an amazing life filled with travel, filled with all kinds of money and abundance, so that I'm not worried and I'm not struggling. And I'm also able to be of contribution, give back, and be of service while doing something that I love. So that's where it's at on July 30th. We're in the middle of a struggle. We're in the middle of trying to figure out how we're going to pay rent for September, which we're 2 days away from August, and that is looming. So hopefully in the next week here, I can figure out a way to save the day and ideally never turn back, never go backwards. Just from that point, start making $5,000, $10,000 a month, which would be more than enough money that I need to make my life. So that's what I'm up to, trying to make my dreams come true, trying to level up, Lando. We're giving ourselves little pats on the back for leveling up. Yay, Landon. Good job getting that video edited. Good job salvaging the situation. Good job cutting bait and moving on. Good job going to try to get news. Good job making your business go. Good job not smoking weed and drinking. Good job trying to manage your money in the little bit that you have. Good job staying humble. Good job being worthy. Good job allowing for the universe to provide and to create your dreams to come true. Yay, Landon. Good job. So, hopefully, you guys are doing something similar in your lives. If you're struggling, hopefully, you're acknowledging where you're doing okay and where you're doing well, and you're not dwelling too much on the struggle and the adversity. Hopefully, you're giving yourselves little pats on the back like I just did, because if you don't pat yourself on the back, nobody's going to do it. So, just recognize that life is hard, life is a struggle, and that when you embrace that struggle, it gets a lot better, it gets a lot easier. When you choose your difficulties, when you choose the problems that you have to take on, it's much easier to embrace the adversity, to embrace the hard times because you chose it. And that is very much my situation. I chose this life, I chose my current situation. So even though it's not ideal, and even though there's a lot of work to be done, makes it much easier to face that adversity and rise to the challenge because I'm the one who picked it. I signed up for this. And when you signed up for it and you remind yourself you signed up for it, makes it a lot easier to take care of business and do those things that you don't want to do, to stay disciplined and to get shit done regardless of how you feel about it. You don't have to be in a good mood to take care of shit, to take action, and to move forward. You can do that feeling shitty. You can do that doubting yourself. You can do that being depressed. So if you're not in a great place, I encourage you to take action because that's the only thing that is measurable. You know, how you feel about it is irrelevant. So with that, I send you into the world hoping that you can find yourself some stoic joy, some deep joy in the miracle that is your life. And from that place, go forward and contribute, give back, be of service. And yeah, I wish you well in that endeavor. It's not easy. So if you are struggling and you are having a hard time, don't beat yourself up too much about it. Although, don't throw a pity party for too long. It's really important to get back to the business of taking care of business. So with that, I am your host, Landon Like a Plane, and I'm taking off.